What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel, and today we have a tournament series kind of thing going on. Jeremy Jolin and Jose Crims Rojano Crims, as you know from the Top Cut, they have been doing a tournament series where they take, I'm just going to say, the 7 best players of the game, and me, somehow the 8th. I don't think I'm one of the best players in the game. But we're having a big tournament here, and every week we play a best 2 out of 3 match against it, and there's a round top 8 matchup. And basically the way it works is each round you win, you get 10 points. If you win the final round, you get 5 points, and it's 5 weeks long, 4 weeks, and then the finals. But you see here, round 1, I'm playing against Ryan Sabelhaus. They both have Sabelhaus in their name here. And we see that Ryan starts Shaman, and I start Toad. And you might be like, Squeaky, what's going on here? It's kind of lagging. Well, that's because I'm screen sharing and streaming and recording this at the same time. So while recording it, the best quality wasn't happening, and you'll see my moves takes a little bit to go to make my moves here. But let's talk a little bit more about the tournament. This is actually week 3 at this current moment, or maybe at the end of this game. I have 0 points, and now I said earlier this is 5 weeks total, but it's 4 rounds, and then you play the finals. So right now I am obviously not in the finals. So we have to actually win this weekend and do great the next weekend to actually have a chance here. So you see I put down a Manectric, a Lightning Energy, Zubat. Now we're trying to decide, do we play the Shaman or in it? We actually just pass here. And we're going to see what my opponent does here. If my opponent doesn't get rid of the Shaman, and it doesn't seem like he... Okay, my turn, so you actually pass the Shaman here. If we can somehow switch this Toad, attach a DC to the Manectric, we can actually knock out the Shaman. Here we'll put down a Golbat, put 20 damage on the Shaman. This game is not that eventful game for Ryan. He hasn't had that great of a setup. So I'm going to put the DC down to the Manectric, and we're going to Shaman here because we're still asleep here, which is bad. I think we're hitting like all tails in our sleeps here. And as you see, it's kind of lagging just a tad bit here. But I think... Oh man, I'm not sure what just happened there. Oh man, we'll find out here in a second what happened. So it looks like we somehow Shaman put a DC down, playing a laser, put him to sleep, Sycamore. We haven't played the end, so somehow we discard it. And we don't hit a way to pick up the Side Toad already. So we don't get a knockout of the Side Toad right now, but the Shaman is asleep here. Now, does my opponent have a card to pick up the Shaman here? Or not pick up the Shaman, but does he have another Pokemon or not? And it tells here, so he actually... Alright, so here we just AZ up the Toad, picking it up, sending the Manectric, and here we'll Assault Laser for the knockout, and take a round 1 off of Ryan's not so great hand. He kind of just drew past there. Started Shaman, not that great here. So here we're going to go round 2. Ignore the names on the side or add them. You can find out who these random people are that you're going to see on the side of the game here. But here we're going to send another request to Ryan here. And now it is a best 2 out of 3, like I said. So Ryan has the option to go first or second. And you'll see here in a second that I actually can't see if he wants to go first or second. But I just assume that he wants to go first. It's just another issue of me streaming or screen sharing to Jeremy, because Jeremy's actually streaming his own Twitch. What he does here is he has both the games with both hands, so that way he can talk about what moves to make and what are the best moves here. First or seconds here, I ask here Ryan. It's going to actually be a second here. I mean, he doesn't respond. I don't know if it's because he's not getting my messages or if I'm not getting his messages, but I think round 2 and 3 are better, so look out for those. If I do make it to round 2 or 3, we'll have to see what happens here. But as you saw, I am playing Side Toad, Manectric, Crobat. I think it's a really good deck in the format right now. Side Toad is one of the best cards in the game right now. Crobat, you know, it just helps Side Toad out. And then the Manectric is for Rayquaza. Rayquaza is one of your worst matchups in this deck. You usually can't beat it with Side Toad Crobats unless you get really lucky on some Fleep Slips. But even if that, they have the Keldeo to Rush and Retreat. But as you see, this is also... I'm not playing it right now. It's just being recorded. And yeah, I decided just let him go first here. And we're going to see what happens. So we start Manectric here. We start a Headringer. So you see we do play Headringers in the deck. We get an Ultra Ball. And we see Hippopotas. Now Hippowdon actually has an attack. It does Resistance Desert, 60. Oh, we see a Silent Lab coming down too. Oh no, that shuts down Shaman. But it makes it where your Pokemon EX can't hurt it. And this is bad for us because we only attack with Manectric and Manectric and Size Toad. Yeah, we could attack with Crobat, but that's not the best attacker here. So our turn here, we get an Ultra Ball, Head Ringer, and we top deck an in. Very nice for us. So we can Ultra Ball, discard the Head Ringer, and I wonder what I discard here. Hopefully we can find out together what I discard here. I don't remember what I do here. Maybe discard the Verse Seeker. So there goes the Head Ringer for sure, and the Verse Seeker. I agree with that play. It seems very great. Okay, so we get a Size Toad, put that bad boy down, play a Laser, trying to put the Hippowdon to sleep, play a DCE, and we'll just play it in here. So we get a Verbank, shutting down, get rid of that Silent Lab, and doing 30 damage to the Hippowdon. Now, if he doesn't get a Hippowdon in play or another Pokemon, we can just pass and win the game because Hippowdon will go down to 30 HP, and we pass. It'll get knocked out here. But we don't get a Zubat down, but I feel like we had to get the Size Toad. Manectric EX just gets one-shot by the Hippowdons, which is bad for us. And if we drew into a Super Scoop Up, we could have picked up the Mega Manectric, or the regular Manectric EX. So we see a Hippowdon come down, Hippowdon, whatever you want to call it. So we're not going to win straight off this. Here we see a Juniper from my opponent. Does he get a Hippowdon or not? It's the big question here. If he doesn't, he'll be in a tough situation. We could just attach an Energy, Retreat, Quake Punch. Here we see an Ultra Ball, though. Now, with this Ultra Ball, you'll need to get a Hippowdon and a DCE, because Resistance Desert actually needs a Fighting Energy and a DC to actually count. Now, remember, it's all EX Pokemon, so if Manectric gets knocked out, we send him Size Toad, we still can hurt it, but there's the Hippowdon. Okay. Now, the big question, does he have a DC or not? Look at that Magma card. It's just, like, stuck in free floats. But he doesn't have it, actually. So here we get a Lightning Energy. We'll put on the Manectric. And if we can get a Quake and Punch off here, we'll be in good shape. If we get a Quake and Punch Energy, or a Quake and Punch Muscle Band Laser, we can actually knock out this Pokemon. So here we're going to get a Shaman. You see there's a Bunnelby in my deck. Hey, little Bunnelby. And this actually help out against Kyogre. That's probably a bad, really bad matchup usually. But here, put down Manectric with Shaman. We need to draw into a Laser at least. But you see we whiff here. We whiff hard. Not even supportive for the next third. Oh, we did get a Laser sometime. I'm not sure when we hit the Laser. My hands are glitching as you saw. Maybe there was a Laser and I just missed it. Maybe I misplayed my hand that I didn't see. But now my opponent, Ryan's in a weird situation here. If he lives the Hippowdon in the active spot here, if he decides to attack with it, will get knocked out. Going back into his turn, I think it has 40 HP left. It has 90. Yeah, 130. So here we see a Juniper. Now I know the Hippowdon decks do play Pokemon Simulator, so that could have been a bad thing here. But here we see another Energy go down to Hippowdon. Here we see a Seismitoad. Alright, we're looking good here. We're looking like we're in good shape here. Now, if we can get... I think we discarded both Head Ringers already, so that's not good for us. We see 140 going to the Seismitoad here. Took a lot of damage from this Hippowdon. But we see Golbat coming down, actually knocking out the Hippowdon straight away from on our side, which is great for us here. It would take a prize card, and now Ryan has to decide, does he send it to Seismitoad until they take the 30 damage early? Does he send it to Hippowdon, which it's weak to grass, so that's okay for him. We can't one-shot it right now, but we could play Super Scoop Up, picking up this Toad, and, Tails. Okay. So here we could put a Laser, or a Lightning Energy on the Manectric, and here we'll Quake a Punch for 30. Now, does Ryan have a DCE or not to start attack on Size Toad is a big question, and he does have the DCE here. Now, he doesn't knock us out, it only does 170. And maybe if we top deck, we do play one AZ in the deck. So if we top deck that, we'll be in really good shape. And the good thing about us is we have these Crobats and Golbats to actually add damage onto these Seismitoads. While he can't really do that, he can't put a Muscle Band down, he can't play a Laser. Here we're looking through our discard pile. I saw 2 lasers in there, so I just missed one of the lasers. I'm sorry about that. Here we see grabs a Hippowdon and a Computer Search. Maybe if in 2 turns, maybe he can use the Computer Search, but here we top deck a Sycamore. Now we have an option. We can either Sycamore the hand away, put a Lightning Energy on the Manectric, we can put a Lightning Energy on the Seismitoad, retreat it. And I'm going to be curious as to what the play I made here. We see the Cypher has 150 HP here. So we put a Lightning on the Manectric. And we're actually just going to Quake and Punch here. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Maybe I just wanted to save the DCE just in case I top deck the Toad. We can put down another Toad, DCE it. Don't want to discard it. I'm pretty sure I looked earlier when I looked at my discard pile, I saw how many DCs were left in my hand. So here he placed down a Landorus here, and I think this is one of the questionable plays from Ryan's side, because now we can actually just license up that Landorus and let it stick in the active spot here. But of course, we send it the Golbat. It has free retreat. So here we get the Crobat. Maybe put 30 damage. We can do 30 damage to the Sabelhaus, bring it up to 90. But what does that get us? Not really far. So see, debating the Crobat or not. I think we should because we're gonna play the Sycamore this turn. We could put the DC on Shaman and attack with this. I think that's what we're gonna do there. We're gonna conserve this DC, and we're gonna Sky Return. Okay, oh, we just Sycamore first. Put down the Zubat, put down the Toad, and here we'll Sky Return for 30. And we'll send the Crobat here. This Crobat does have free retreat. The Manectric really, the Size Toad can't really knock it out, so we're good with that way. Now, next turn, we have a big play here. If we can keep the Lysander DCE in our hand, we can actually Lysander that Landorus, and it'll be stuck in the active spot here. It has a 3 retreat cost, and I don't think Ryan plays AZ in his deck. If he's playing like Eduardo, I think it's Eduardo. His list didn't play that, but here we see a Lysander bringing up the Toad. Laser not putting us to sleep. Here we see a Muffspan on the Toad. I think that's what we're going to do next turn. I think we're going to Lysander this Landorus, put a DC on it, and Ryan will be kind of stuck there with that Landorus in the active spot here. Maybe not one of the... I'm pretty sure Ryan had a reasoning behind it. I'll give him that. I'm not really sure what it was. Maybe to one-shot the Manectrics. I mean, with the Strong Energy, Muscle Band, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a Fighting Stadium, you're doing 90, 180, knocks out Manectric, so it could be a last two prize taker. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Ryan's computer searching currently right now. Search your deck for any card, put in your hand here. And remember, this is round 2, so if we get some squeaky win out here, squeaky win with squeaky, we actually move on to top 4. So, but here we get the Lysander. Like I said, we're Lysandering up this Landorus, put down the Zubat, and we're going to Quake and Punch here, doing 30 damage to this Landorus. Okay. So next turn, we can actually Super Scoop up, trying to pick up this Cyclotoad and get rid of all the damage on it right now. But we had to flip heads on the Super Scoop up. So let's see what Ryan does here. Right now it has 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. If he has a Strong Energy, he can actually knock us out here. But he had played 3 earlier, I think, on the Hippowdon. I remember he attached, or maybe it was 2 strong. I know he's attached multiple Strong Energies here. Let's see what Ryan decides to do here. Once again, it's as you see on the top left, Ryan's thing kind of glitches there. Alright, freezes. So we see Similarity actually healing off the Landorus, which is not great for us here. And, we see a Shaman come down, draw into 6 cards here. Does he have an energy? We see, okay, my turn. We Super Scoop up, pick up the Size Toad. It happened so quick, I'm not even sure what happened there. But I think when we drew into the Size Toad, we get a Zerosic here. Discarding a DC off the Hippowdon. Here we get a Size Toad DCE. And we're just going to retreat the Size Toad here. Trying to count everything. We can maybe Super Scoop up this Crobat. And do some Golbat and Crobat math. But we opt not to do that. That's good for us right now, because we can save the Super Scoop later for the Size Toad. There's no real need to pick up the Crobat right now. Maybe we just need to make sure the Size Toad's in perfect condition when we start Quake and Punch in the following turn. Let's see, right now the Toad's at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Even if we were to Super Scoop up, we would need to hit another Golbat to actually knock out that Size Toad on the bench. But we actually need to take out 5 prize cards, so it's 2 EX and a regular Pokemon. So he ends us, and let's see here. We've got a Golbat, putting 20 damage. So let's see here. Quake Punch does 60 damage total, which brings it up to 120. If we drop down a Golbat, 140. With the laser, 170. And if we do that and end our turn, or if when he ends his turn, the landers actually get knocked out coming back into our turn, which is pretty great here. I think that's what we're going to do here. We play the laser, of course. Or let's see, if we just Quake Punch here for 60, 120, 34, 50, we can actually just put the Golbat on the Seismic Toad, and then maybe next turn knock it out with another Seismic Toad Crobat. So I'm debating where does this lightning energy go. We could put on the Seismic Toad here and actually make it where we can retreat with it. If the other Seismic Toad comes up, we can send a Manectric EX, a Soul Laser for a knockout because it does have a Muscle Band on it now. That could be a play here. I'm debating all my options. I think that's the best play. Put the lightning energy on the Seismic Toad, or maybe on the Crobat. Maybe we get Skill Diver to finish it off. Yeah, but see the 20 damage actually goes on the bench. Seismic Toad. Just looking through my discard pile, we're seeing how many cards to discard here. My game is kind of glitching here for a second. We see one Golbat, one Crobat. So we have no Golbats left because I only play a 3. So we see a lightning energy action go down to Golbat, and here we see a Colress. Because if I draw into a Super Scoop up here, we can actually pick up that Crobat. Yeah, that's why I decided to do that. I was trying to see how many Super Scoops was left on my deck here. So once we Colress, we can actually Super Scoop up, pick up the bench Crobat, and do 30 damage to that bench Seismic Toad. Let's see what I decided to do here. Okay, so here I make a misplay. When I Colress, I draw into a Muscle Band. So now we actually knock out the Landorus here. This was a big misplay on my part. I just saw Muscle Band. I was like, oh, Muscle Band, we gotta grab it, we gotta play it. But yeah, a little misplay on my part because now the Landorus gets knocked out into Ryan's turn when it could have just been knocked out to our turn. But he can easily play like a Pokemon Center Lady or something. That was just a silly misplay on my part. But still, the Seismic Toad EX has 40 HP left. We have a Muscle Band on it, on our Seismic Toad, so we can easily just Quake Punch here, knocking it out. And here I say, oops, didn't mean to drop band, lol. But here we see a Lysander bringing up our Manectric. Not that big of a deal. We have a DC to retreat. Hopefully we can draw into a another Colress. Did I get the Verseeker off the prize? I hope I did, because if I if I had the Verseeker in hand, why would I not have played it for a Colress for the following turn? Questionable play by me. And here we see Bumblebee making an appearance once again. This list is close to Chrissy Britton, who made top 8 at U.S. Nationals, but there was a couple of changes there. As you see, I decided to play a Computer Search into Rock Guard. I think the Computer Search just helps with consistency, where Rock Guard seems cute, but I don't really like it. I can't remember. I made some other changes. Obviously, there's a Bumblebee in here, and there's no Silent Lab in the deck either. So we're seeing what Ryan does here. Okay, so we retreat. He Quake Punch. We retreat the Manectric, send up the Toad, Quake Punch, Juniper. I'm sorry that the game is glitchy. I know round 2 and 3 are better though, so that's one thing to look at here. But we see Shaman come to X spot. We see a Juniper. Now, no matter what, he needs a DCE to Sky Return the Shaman. If he doesn't, we can retreat this Seismic Toad. If we have, we need an energy actually though, so we need to draw into an energy to retreat it, or an AZ. If we can AZ up this Seismic Toad too, that could work. Or we can just Quake Punch with the laser and hope we flip heads. Or Lysander up the Hippowdon. There's so many options we have this turn, depending on what Ryan does here. So let's see. Hopefully the game doesn't just skip and we just see a victory screen. It was 5-4 and now it's 1-4, so we made a huge comeback on our side here. Just because of that big Landorus play that Ryan, the big Landorus drop that Ryan did. I think if he didn't drop that Landorus, the game would have been a little bit closer. I'm not sure how much though. Sadly, it looks like the game has frozen though. Alright, so we see an end. We get into a Verseeker. Okay. So we actually Lysander up that Hippowdon. Okay, so you see, good game, buddy. Okay, so what happened there is we Lysander Hippowdon, lasered it into Ryan's turn. I guess the Hippowdon stayed asleep. He played an in. And I guess he couldn't find a way to get the Hippowdon out of the axe spot there. But we see round 1 goes to me. Hopefully round 2 and 3 isn't as shaky. I just paused it there so that way you don't see anything else. But that was a pretty good game there. We saw Seismic Toad, Manectric, Crobat beat the Hippowdon deck. Round 1, Ryan just kind of drew past with the Shaman in the axe spot. It happens sometimes. It's not Doesn't happen a lot, but it happens sometimes. You start with Shaman, which is your Pokemon to help you set up, but when you don't, when you start with it, it's not helping you set up there. But I hope you enjoyed round 1. I'll leave the Facebook page to Trainer Talk. They'll have their Twitch and everything. You can go see that. And I'll leave their YouTube channel too if you want to watch more matches. Sorry about my phone just dinging right there. But hope you enjoyed this round. Next round we play against Russell Lepar, which is another great player who loves Flygon. So hopefully we'll have another Flygon game. I'm excited to see what we play in round 2. But once again, I hope you enjoyed this series. And here you'll see round 2 here in a second. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Alrighty, bye.